Thanksgiving at the Harrison house always smelled like rosemary and disappointment. The rosemary came from Mom's turkey. The disappointment came from me. Rachel still hasn't arrived, Aunt Linda announced, checking her watch. Traffic from the city? She's coming from her office, Mom said proudly. Working late on Black Friday preparations. Assistant manager of operations at Bloomfield's department store. Such dedication. My sister Rachel had been promoted 3 months ago. Every family gathering since had become a Rachel appreciation festival. That girl's going places, Uncle Tom said, loading his plate with stuffing. Corporate ladder, benefits, retirement plan. Real career trajectory. I sat at the end of the table, laptop open next to my untouched cranberry sauce, responding to a Slack message from my co-founder. Natalie, close that thing, Dad said, gesturing at my computer. It's Thanksgiving. I'm working, I said. You're playing online, Mom corrected gently. There's a difference, sweetheart. I looked up from my screen. I'm reviewing Q4 projections with my business partner. Business partner, Dad repeated with a slight smile, like I'd said imaginary friend. Honey, we support your hobbies. But on Thanksgiving, can we pretend to be present? It's not a hobby. It's my company. Your startup thing, Aunt Linda said kindly. Very entrepreneurial. My nephew tried that once. Lasted 6 months before he got a real job. The front door opened. Rachel swept in wearing her Bloomfield's blazer, name tag still pinned to her chest. Rachel Harrison, assistant manager. There's my successful daughter. Mom rushed over, embracing her. Tell everyone your news. Rachel beamed. They're promoting me again. Full operations manager in January. Salary increase, bigger office, company car allowance. The table erupted in congratulations. Now that's success, Uncle Tom said. 27 years old and already middle management. The Harrison work ethic lives on. Meanwhile, Rachel said, finally acknowledging me, Natalie's still doing her computer thing. How's that going? Make any money yet? We're profitable, I said quietly. That's nice, Rachel said in a tone that meant she didn't believe me. But profitable like enough to pay rent? Or profitable like theoretical startup math? Profitable like 43 million in revenue this year, I said. The table went silent for exactly 2 seconds before Rachel laughed. 43 million. Right. Natalie, you don't have to make up numbers. There's no shame in starting small. I'm not making up. Honey, Mom interrupted, maybe we can discuss your venture another time. Today is about family. And celebrating Rachel's real accomplishment. Real accomplishment, I repeated softly. You know what I mean, Mom said. Tangible success. Rachel has an office we can visit. Business cards. A title people understand. Your tech thing is very abstract. My phone buzzed. Text from my co-founder James. TechCrunch just confirmed. Interview goes live tomorrow at 9 a.m. You still good with announcement? Me, yes. Do it. James, your family's going to lose their minds. Me, I know. I'd met James Chin 4 years ago at a startup incubator. He was a Stanford CS grad with a brilliant idea for AI-powered supply chain optimization. I was a data scientist sick of corporate consulting looking for something meaningful. We'd co-founded LogiStream together. Equal partners. 50-50 split. We'd built software that used machine learning to predict supply chain disruptions, optimize inventory, and reduce waste for e-commerce companies. Started with 5 small retailers. Now we serve 200 clients, including 3 Fortune 500 companies. Last month, we'd closed our Series C funding round. $180 million at a $950 million valuation. My family knew none of this. They knew I did something with computers, and worked from home and didn't have a real job. Rachel had an assistant manager title at a department store. She was the success story. I was the cautionary tale about following your dreams. At least Rachel has structure, Dad said, carving the turkey. Morning alarm, commute, office colleagues. Normal work life. Natalie just stays in her apartment all day in pajamas. I wear business casual for video calls, I said. Video calls with who? Rachel asked. Other people playing office? With clients. Partners. Investors. Investors, Rachel laughed again. Natalie, come on. Stop with the fantasy. If you had real investors, you'd have a real office. We have an office, I said. In Palo Alto. 12,000 square feet. 73 employees. More laughter. Louder this time. 73 employees in California, but you're in Chicago? Uncle Tom looked confused. How does that work? I'm the chief technology officer, I said. I can work remotely when needed. James handles operations from Palo Alto. I focus on product development and algorithm optimization. James, Mom repeated. Your business partner. Natalie, honey, is James even real? Have we ever met him? He's real. He's in California. Convenient, Rachel said. The imaginary business partner in the imaginary office with imaginary employees. They're not imaginary. Then prove it, Rachel challenged. Show us something. Business cards. Pay stubs. Anything real. I could have shown them. Bank statements showing my salary. Press releases about our funding rounds. Articles in TechCrunch and Forbes about Logistream's growth. I was tired. Tired of proving myself. Tired of being dismissed. So I said, tomorrow. You'll see tomorrow. Rachel rolled her eyes. Sure we will. Build up. That night, after the dishes were cleared and most relatives had left, I sat in Mom and Dad's living room while Rachel showed everyone photos from her office. This is my desk. This is my nameplate. This is the conference room where I run operations meetings. Everyone oohed and awed appropriately. What about you, Natalie? Aunt Linda asked. Do you have office photos? On my phone, I said. But you wouldn't believe they were mine anyway. That attitude, Dad said, shaking his head. Rachel succeeds because she's positive. Professional. You could learn from her. Rachel smiled sweetly. I'm not trying to compete, Nat. We're just different. I chose stability. You chose whatever you're doing. Both valid. The condescension was suffocating. My phone buzzed again. James, just finished the TechCrunch interview. They're leading with our valuation and Series C. Should make waves. You ready for this? Me more than ready. James. By the way, Bloomberg wants us for their tech conference livestream tomorrow at 2 p.m. Emerging Unicorns panel. I said yes. That cool? Me perfect. James evil. I like it. The Bloomberg Technology Conference was one of the biggest events in Silicon Valley. Live-streamed globally. Hundreds of thousands of viewers. Panel discussions with founders of billion-dollar companies. And tomorrow James and I would be on it. You're on that phone constantly, Mom observed. Who are you texting? James. We have a conference tomorrow. A conference, Rachel repeated, amused. For your startup? For emerging unicorn companies, I said. Unicorn. Tech term for companies valued over $1 billion. Rachel actually snorted. And you think you're going to a conference for billion-dollar companies? We're speaking on a panel, I said. Livestream at 2 p.m. Bloomberg Technology Conference. The room went quiet. Then Dad cleared his throat. Natalie, these fantasies are getting concerning. Billion-dollar valuations? Bloomberg conferences? This is beyond startup optimism. This is delusion. I'm not delusional. Then explain how you're speaking at a major conference when you don't even have an office? Rachel demanded. When you work in pajamas from your apartment. When you can't even prove your company exists. I can prove it. Tomorrow. Watch the live stream. There is no live stream, Mom said sadly. Sweetheart, we love you. But you need help. This fantasy world you've built. I built a real company, I said, standing up. With a real partner, real employees, real revenue, and real investors. And tomorrow the world will see it. I grabbed my coat. Where are you going? Dad asked. Back to my apartment. I have actual work to do. Running away when faced with reality, Rachel said to Mom. Classic Natalie. I left without responding. That night I barely slept. I reviewed our panel talking points, checked the livestream link, confirmed logistics with James. At 1:45 p.m. the next day, I set up my laptop at my apartment. My imaginary office according to my family. At 1:55 p.m. I texted Mom. Turn on Bloomberg. Channel 353. Or watch online. Livestream starts at 2. Mom. Natalie, please stop this. Come over. Let's talk about getting you help. Me, just watch. At 2 p.m., the Bloomberg Technology Conference livestream began. Revelation. The panel was called Emerging Unicorns, the Next Billion-Dollar Companies. 4 founders sitting on stage in a sleek Silicon Valley conference center, with the Bloomberg logo behind them. On screen, James Chin in his Stanford hoodie sitting next to 3 other tech CEOs. The moderator, a well-known Bloomberg tech reporter, introduced each panelist. James Chin, co-founder and CEO of Logistream Technologies, which just closed a Series C at a $950 million valuation. Logistream's AI-powered supply chain optimization serves over 200 clients and processed $43 million in revenue this year. James waved at the camera. My phone started buzzing. First text from Mom. Is that your James? Then Dad, is this real? Then Rachel, what the hell? The moderator continued. James, Logistream has been called the most innovative supply chain solution in the market. Tell us about your co-founder. I understand she's joining us remotely. James smiled. My co-founder and CTO Natalie Harrison is the genius behind our algorithms. She's in Chicago today, but she's dialing in. Natalie. The screen split. James on the left. Me on the right, broadcasting from my apartment. Hi everyone, I said calmly. Thanks for having us. Natalie, you built Logistream's core technology from scratch, the moderator said. Walk us through the innovation. I explained our machine learning models, our predictive analytics, our real-time optimization engines. Technical but accessible. The moderator asked follow-up questions. I answered precisely. You're based in Chicago, not Silicon Valley, the moderator noted. Unusual for a tech unicorn. How does that work? James and I are equal partners, I said. He handles operations and fundraising from Palo Alto. I handle product and technology from Chicago. It works because we trust each other completely. And the valuation? The moderator asked. $950 million after Series C. That puts you on track to hit unicorn status, billion-dollar valuation within months. How does that feel? James grinned. It feels like validation. We started 4 years ago with an idea and $5,000. Today we're 73 employees serving Fortune 500 companies. It's surreal. Natalie, same question, the moderator said. I paused, thinking about my family. About Rachel's assistant manager promotion. About Mom calling my work, playing online. It feels like proof, I said carefully. Proof that unconventional paths can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Proof that you don't need a traditional office or corporate structure to build something valuable. Proof that quiet, invisible work can create massive impact. The moderator nodded. Logistream is definitely creating impact. Let's talk about your expansion plans. The panel continued for 45 minutes. Questions about AI, about scaling, about competition, about our next funding round. My phone didn't stop buzzing. Mom. Natalie, why didn't you tell us? Dad. $950 million? That's your company? Rachel, we need to talk. Aunt Linda. I'm watching you on Bloomberg. I can't believe it. Uncle Tom, holy shit kid. You're a tech mogul? I ignored them all, focusing on the panel. When it ended, James signed off. Thanks for having us. Follow Logistream's journey. We're just getting started. I closed my laptop. Silence in my apartment. Then my phone rang. I answered. Natalie. Her voice was shaking. We just watched. We saw. That was real. Yes. Your company is worth $950 million currently, I said. Projecting to hit $1 billion within 6 months. Silence. Why didn't you tell us? Mom whispered. I tried, I said. For 4 years. You called it playing online. Dad called it a hobby. Rachel said I didn't have a real job. We didn't understand, Mom said. You didn't listen, I corrected. There's a difference. Dad's voice in the background. Let me talk to her. The phone shifted. Natalie, your mother and I, we had no idea you'd built something this significant. Because you never asked what I was building, I said. You decided it wasn't real because it didn't look like Rachel's job. We made a mistake, Dad said. We should have believed me. I finished. Supported me. Asked questions instead of making assumptions. Yes, Dad said quietly. All of that. Resolution. Rachel called an hour later. I'm sorry, she said immediately. I was horrible. I dismissed everything you were doing. I mocked you in front of the whole family. You did, I agreed. I was jealous, Rachel admitted. You were always the smart one. The tech genius. I had my management job and it was mine. My accomplishment. My identity. When you talked about your startup, I felt threatened. So you decided to tear it down, I said. I decided it wasn't real, Rachel said. It was easier than accepting that you might be succeeding on a level I couldn't compete with. I wasn't competing with you, I said. I was building something I believed in. You made it a competition. I know, Rachel said. Can I see your office? Meet James? Understand what you've built. Why? I asked. So you can believe it now that it's been validated on Bloomberg? I don't need your belief anymore, Rachel. I needed it 4 years ago. I want to understand, Rachel said. I want to be a real sister, not just someone who showed up after you proved yourself. That's exactly what you are, though, I said. Someone who showed up after proof. I hung up. Over the next week, my family tried everything. Dinner invitations. Apology letters. Mom showed up at my apartment with flowers. I'm proud of you, she said, crying. I should have been proud all along. You were proud of Rachel, I said. Because her success was visible. Understandable. Mine required belief without proof. You weren't willing to give me that. How do I fix this? Mom asked. I don't know if you can, I said. 4 years of dismissal doesn't erase with one apology. Mom left the flowers. I gave them to my neighbor. Last week, Logistream hit unicorn status. $1.1 billion valuation. TechCrunch ran the story. Forbes featured us. Bloomberg invited us back for another interview. Rachel texted congratulations. I didn't respond. Dad sent a card. We always knew you were special. I threw it away. They didn't know. They refused to know. Yesterday Mom called. Rachel's getting promoted again. Regional manager. I wanted to invite you to the celebration dinner. No thanks, I said. Natalie, we're family. Can't we move past this? Rachel has her proper office, I said, echoing Mom's words from Thanksgiving. Her real career. Her tangible success. Celebrate that. I have my imaginary startup to run. That's not fair, Mom said. No, I agreed. It's not. But it's accurate. I hung up. James called later. Saw the TechCrunch article about family founders who faced doubt. Thinking about contributing your story? Maybe, I said. After we hit our next milestone. Which is? 2 billion, I said. I want to be worth more than Rachel's entire company. Then we'll talk. James laughed. Ice cold. I respect it. I'm not trying to hurt my family. I'm just done performing for them. Done proving myself. Done seeking validation from people who only believe in success they can see and touch. They wanted me to get a proper office, a real job, a tangible career. I built a billion-dollar company instead. And when they finally saw what I'd created, I'd already stopped caring what they thought. That's not revenge. That's just moving on.